you're not a priority? Stoicism can change that. Are you tired of feeling overlooked? Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a relationship, whether with a friend, a romantic partner, or a family member, only to feel like you're barely a blip on their radar? You show up consistently, give your all, make sacrifices, and yet, somehow, you're still not a priority. That sting of being overlooked, of having your efforts go unnoticed, or your values seem invisible, can cut deep. It's disheartening to feel like you're always on the sidelines, craving recognition that never comes. But here is the truth. You have to stay trapped in that cycle of seeking validation. What if you could shift how others perceive and treat you, not by chasing their approval, but by mastering yourself? By embracing the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, particularly the teachings of Epictetus, you can cultivate a presence that commands respect and naturally draws others to prioritize you. Let's embark on a journey of self-respect, subtle influence, and unshakable confidence with 9 Stoic-inspired strategies designed to make you a priority in the lives of those you care about. The first step is to focus on what you can control: your own thoughts, actions, and reactions. Epictetus taught that we cannot control others' opinions or behaviors, but we have absolute power over our own mindset. By letting go of the need for external validation, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of others' approval. Instead, cultivate inner strength by aligning your actions with your values. When you live authentically and consistently, others begin to notice your integrity. This isn't about changing who you are to please others. It's about becoming so grounded in your own worth that your presence becomes magnetic. Next, practice deliberate boundaries. Stoicism emphasizes self-discipline, and setting clear boundaries is a powerful way to signal your value. If you're always available, always bending over backward, you may inadvertently teach others to take you for granted. Instead, respect your own time and energy. Politely but firmly decline requests that overstep and prioritize your own goals. This subtle shift communicates that your time is valuable, encouraging others to treat you with the same respect. Another key strategy is to lead by example. Epictetus believed in living virtuously, regardless of others' actions. Show up as someone who embodies reliability, kindness, and strength, but don't demand recognition for it. When you consistently act with dignity, others are drawn to your character. Over time, your steadfast presence becomes something they can't ignore, naturally elevating your importance in their lives. Finally, embrace emotional independence. Stop tying your worth to how others treat you. Epictetus reminds us that our happiness depends on our own perceptions. By finding contentment within yourself, you project confidence that makes you a priority, not because you demanded it, but because you've become someone others can't help but value. Ready to start this journey? Let's dive deeper into these strategies and transform how you're seen and treated. The Stoic truth about control? Let's start with a hard truth. You can't force anyone to value you. Not your best friend, not your partner, not even your family. Trying to control how others perceive you is like trying to grab the wind that slips through your fingers, leaving you frustrated and powerless. This is where Stoicism, particularly the teachings of Epictetus, becomes a game changer. Born a slave, Epictetus rose to become one of history's greatest philosophers by mastering a simple principle. True freedom comes from focusing on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, and responses, not someone else's priorities or opinions. When you stop chasing external validation, you reclaim your power and set the stage for others to see your worth naturally. When you bend over backward to please someone, hoping they'll notice your value, you're handing them the reins to your self-worth. Every unanswered text, every ignored gesture, every time your sideline stings because you've tied your value to their approval, Stoicism flips this script. It teaches you to stop seeking what's beyond your control, and instead build a life so grounded, so full of purpose, that others can't help but take notice. This isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about owning your intrinsic value and letting it shine through your actions. By embodying self-respect and confidence, you create a presence that quietly demands respect. So how do you shift from feeling overlooked to being seen as a priority? It begins with a mindset shift, followed by deliberate, strategic actions, rooted in Stoic wisdom and practical psychology. Over the next 9 steps, we'll explore how to make this transformation happen, each step building on the last, to create a powerful framework for change.
Ow.
The first step is to internalize that your worth isn't dependent on others' recognition. Epictetus reminds us that our happiness lies in our own perceptions. By focusing on your own growth, cultivating virtues like courage, discipline, and kindness, you create a foundation of self-assurance that others naturally gravitate toward. Next, consider the power of intentional boundaries. Stoicism emphasizes self-discipline, and saying no to demands that drain you is a form of self-respect. When you stop overextending yourself, you signal that your time and energy are valuable. This isn't about being cold or distant, it's about showing others how to treat you by treating yourself with priority. Over time, this subtle shift reshapes how people perceive you. As you move through these steps, you'll learn to lead by example. Practice emotional independence and align your actions with your values. Each strategy draws on Epictetus's teachings to help you build a life that commands attention, not because you demanded it, but because your presence is undeniable. Let's dive into these 9 steps and start transforming how you're seen and valued. Create a spark of scarcity. Have you ever noticed how we tend to crave what's hard to get? It's a quirk of human nature, backed by psychology's concept of loss aversion. We're wired to fear losing something valuable far more than we desire gaining something new. This instinct can be a powerful tool in reshaping how others perceive you, not through manipulation, but by subtly adjusting your presence to signal your worth. By creating a gentle sense of scarcity, you can inspire others to see you as a priority, not because you're playing games, but because you're living a life that commands attention. The key is to dial back your availability without becoming distant or cold. If you're always the one initiating contact, texting first, planning hangouts, or pouring your heart into every conversation, you might unintentionally signal that your time is limitless. Instead, try pulling back just a touch. For example, if you're used to sharing every detail of your day and long, heartfelt chats offer a glimpse instead of the full story. Maybe respond to a message with a thoughtful but brief reply, leaving a bit of mystery. This creates a spark of curiosity in the other person. Mind is subtle. What's going on with them? Moment that makes them lean in. You're not ghosting or ignoring anyone. You're simply showing that your attention is a privilege, not a guarantee. At the same time, diversify where you invest your energy. Spend time with other friends, dive into a passion project, or pursue a personal goal that lights you up. This isn't about pretending you dan T current. It's about demonstrating that your world is full and vibrant. It's not revolving around one person. When you show that your time is valuable and your life is rich with meaning, others begin to see you differently. They might feel a twinge of concern, a quiet worry of, what if I lose this connection? That's the power of scarcity at work. It shifts their perspective, making your presence feel more precious. You don't want to overdo it and push people away, making them think you're uninterested or done with the relationship. Think of it like seasoning a dish. Too much salt ruins the flavor, but the right amount makes it irresistible. Pay attention to how others respond. If they start reaching out more, initiating plans, or showing greater interest, you're striking the right chord. You're not forcing anyone to value you. You're planting the seed that you're someone worth prioritizing. By living fully in your own world and sharing your energy selectively, you create a dynamic where others naturally want to invest in you. This approach, rooted in Stoic principles of self-mastery and psychological insight, transforms how you're seen, not by demanding attention, but by embodying a life so compelling that others can't help but take notice. Quality over quantity. Being there for the people you care about is a beautiful thing. You answer their calls, carve out time in your busy life, and show up when they need you. But here's a subtle trap. If you're always available, always ready to drop everything, it can backfire. People may start to take you for granted, treating you like a fixture in their lives, reliable, predictable, and always there, like a piece of furniture. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote, teaching us to value ourselves first by being intentional about how we allocate our time. By shifting from constant availability to deliberate, meaningful presence, you can transform how others perceive and prioritize you. This approach is about prioritizing quality over quantity in your relationships, Instead of being on call 24/7, focus on making the moments you share truly impactful. A single, heartfelt conversation over coffee where you're fully present. Listening intently and sharing authentically holds far more weight than a dozen distracted, half-hearted text exchanges. When you're with someone, give them your undivided attention. Put away distractions, engage deeply, and let the interaction carry real meaning. But don't make your presence so readily available that it loses its shine. By being selective with your time, you signal that it's a gift, not an obligation. Try this practical step. The next time someone asks you to hang out or seeks your time, resist the urge to say yes immediately. Instead, respond with, "Let me check my schedule," or suggest a time that aligns with your priorities. This isn't about playing hard to get or being aloof. It's about demonstrating that your time is valuable and that you respect your own needs. Setting these gentle boundaries communicates a powerful message. Your presence is a privilege, not a given. It's a subtle shift that encourages others to appreciate you more deeply, as they recognize that your time is not limitless. This strategy is deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom, particularly the teachings of Epictetus, who emphasized that we control our choices and actions. By deliberately choosing when and how you show up, you're exercising that control and reinforcing your self-worth. You're not at the mercy of others' demands. You're curating your availability to reflect your value. Think of it like a rare gem. Its worth comes from its scarcity, not from being scattered everywhere. When people see that your time is precious, they begin to view you as precious too. Over time, this intentional approach reshapes dynamics, fostering mutual respect in your relationships. You're not demanding to be a priority. You're living in a way that naturally inspires others to prioritize you. As you practice this balance of presence and boundaries, you'll find that your relationships deepen, built on a foundation of mutual value and respect, rather than taken for granted familiarity. The power of a little mystery. What's more captivating, a book that spills every detail in the opening chapter, or one that teases you with hints, compelling you to keep turning the pages? Human nature gravitates toward the unknown, the allure of discovery. In relationships, a touch of mystery can transform how others perceive you, making them eager to know you better and naturally positioning you as a priority in their lives. This isn't about being elusive or inauthentic. It's about pacing yourself, revealing your depth gradually to create intrigue and foster genuine connection. The key is to share yourself selectively, offering glimpses of who you are without laying everything bare. Instead of unloading your entire life story the first time you connect with someone, sprinkle in small, tantalizing hints about your passions, dreams, or quirks. For instance, if you're passionate about painting, mention a recent project you enjoyed but skip the full backstory. Let them ask questions. Let their curiosity build. This approach invites others to invest effort in getting to know you, which deepens their appreciation for you. It's not about withholding for the sake of games. It's about respecting your own complexity and allowing it to unfold naturally. Consider a practical example. When someone asks about your weekend, resist the urge to give a detailed play-by-play. Instead, try something like, "Oh, I had a blast trying something new," and pause there. If they're intrigued, they'll probe further, asking what you did or why it was fun. This creates a dynamic where they're actively engaging with you, working to uncover more. It's like a treasure hunt. Each piece of you they discover feels like a reward, making them value the connection more. The effort they put in shifts their perspective, subtly reinforcing that you're someone worth prioritizing. This approach aligns beautifully with Stoic philosophy, particularly the teachings of Epictetus, who emphasize controlling what you can, your actions, words, and choices. By choosing when and how much to reveal, you're exercising self-respect, not manipulation. You're not an open book for anyone to skim through at their leisure. You're a story that unfolds deliberately, inviting others to engage with intention. This gradual reveal keeps people invested, as they become curious to learn more about your thoughts, experiences, and unique perspective. It's a subtle way to signal that your presence is valuable, not a given. As you practice this, you'll notice a shift in your relationships. People will lean in, ask more questions, and show greater interest because you've sparked their curiosity. You're not demanding their attention. You're inviting it. by being a compelling, multifaceted person who respects their own narrative. By pacing your openness and embracing a touch of mystery, you create a dynamic where others naturally see you as someone worth prioritizing a story they can wait to read more of. Encourage their investment. Human nature has a simple truth. We cherish what we work for. Think about a project you poured hours into, whether it's a piece of art, a work presentation, or a personal goal. The effort you invested makes the outcome feel precious, doesn't it? Relationships follow the same principle. When someone invests time, energy, or emotion into you, they're more likely to see you as a priority. This Stoic-inspired strategy is about creating opportunities for others to contribute to the relationship, fostering a dynamic where your value shines through their effort. To make this happen, start by stepping back from always being the initiator. If you're constantly the one planning outings, sending the first text, or solving problems for others, you're carrying the full weight of the relationship. This can lead to being taken for granted, as your efforts become expected rather than appreciated. Instead, create space for others to step up. For example, if you typically organize every meet with a friend, try waiting for them to suggest the next hangout. If they don't reach out right away, resist the urge to fill the silence. Let them feel the absence of your initiative. This pause invites them to take responsibility, whether it's proposing a coffee date or checking in when you've been quieter than usual. Their effort, no matter how small, signals that they're beginning to see you as someone worth investing in. This approach isn't about playing hard to get or manipulating emotions. It's about cultivating balance. By allowing others the opportunity to contribute, you're fostering a relationship where both sides actively participate. When they put in the effort, whether it's planning to get together or reaching out to see how you're doing, they start to value you more because they worked for the connection. It's like planting a seed. Their investment grows into a deeper appreciation for you. For instance, when a friend takes the initiative to call or a partner plans a thoughtful date, it reinforces the mutual value in the relationship, making it more meaningful for both of you. Balance is critical here. You don't want to swing too far and become distant or unreachable, as that can create disconnection rather than engagement. The goal is to offer a gentle challenge, not to build a wall. Stoicism, as taught by Epictetus, emphasizes acting with intention and self-respect. By encouraging others to invest in you, you're not manipulating them, you're creating a dynamic where both parties contribute, strengthening the bond. This aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control, your actions and boundaries. As you practice this, you'll notice others stepping up more, whether it's through a thoughtful gesture or consistent effort. By fostering mutual investment, you're not demanding to be a priority, you're recultivating relationships where your value is naturally recognized and cherished, built on a foundation of shared effort and respect. Put yourself first to become a priority in the lives of others. You must first prioritize yourself, a truth that may feel challenging, but is essential for building meaningful relationships. Stoicism, rooted in the teachings of Epictetus, emphasizes self-mastery as the cornerstone of a fulfilling life. This begins with recognizing your own worth and refusing to let it be diminished by others' actions. If you consistently place others' needs above your own, you may unintentionally signal that your time, energy, and feelings are secondary. By embracing self-respect and setting intentional boundaries, you create a foundation that not only strengthens your sense of self, but also inspires others to value you. Reflect on a moment when you stayed in a situation that felt wrong. Perhaps a friend repeatedly canceled plans, or a partner brushed off your emotions. Did you keep showing up, hoping they'd change? This is where Stoic wisdom offers clarity. Epictetus teaches us to focus on what's within our control, our choices, actions, and boundaries. You can't force someone to respect you, but you can choose how you respond. If someone consistently undervalues you, it's not only okay, but necessary to step back. This isn't about resentment or cutting people off. It's about honoring your worth by choosing relationships and interactions that uplift rather than diminish you. Prioritizing yourself means learning to say no to what erodes your self-respect. For example, if a friend only reaches out when they need a favor, don't feel obligated to jump in every time. Politely decline or suggest a time that aligns with your needs, signaling that your energy is valuable. This act of setting boundaries isn't cold, it's a declaration of self-compassion. By showing that you respect your own time and needs, you set a clear standard for how others should treat you. It's a subtle but powerful shift. When you stop tolerating being taken for granted, you teach others to meet you at your level. The beauty of this approach lies in its ripple effect. When you prioritize yourself, you radiate a quiet confidence that draws in people who naturally value you. Your self-respect becomes a magnet, attracting those who see and appreciate your worth, without you having to demand it. This aligns with Stoic principles of focusing on your own character and choices, letting external outcomes follow naturally. It's not selfish to put yourself first in this way. It's an act of self-compassion that lays the groundwork for healthier, more balanced relationships. As you practice this, you'll notice a shift. The people in your life begin to mirror your self-respect. It's treating you as a priority because you've shown them what it looks like to value yourself. By building this foundation of self-mastery, you create a life where you're not just tolerated but cherished. It's not because you forced it, but because your presence commands it. The art of balanced distance. There's a subtle art to creating distance, not the kind that pushes people away, but the kind that invites them to lean in closer. When you live a full, independent life, you become magnetic, naturally drawing others to value your presence. This Stoic-inspired strategy is about striking a balance where your time feels special. It's not because you're withholding it, but because your life is rich with purpose and meaning. By focusing on your own world, you shift the dynamic, making others see you as someone worth prioritizing. Imagine this scenario. You're always orbiting someone else's life, constantly texting first, checking in, or making them the center of your universe. Over time, this can lead to being taken for granted, as your presence becomes expected rather than cherished. Now, picture the opposite. Instead of revolving around one person, you pour energy into your own goals, passions, and relationships. You dive into a hobby that excites you, spend time with friends who uplift you, or pursue a personal project that lights you up. When you do connect with the person you want to prioritize you, the moment feels special because it's not a default part of their day, it's a privilege. This balanced distance highlights your depth and independence, making your presence more compelling. For example, instead of being available every weekend for the same person, carve out time for activities that enrich your life. Maybe you take up a new skill, volunteer for a cause you care about, or plan a day with other friends who inspire you. When you reconnect with the person you're focused on, the time you share carries more weight. They notice the spark in your eyes, the stories you bring, the confidence you exude from living fully. This shift makes them see you as someone with a vibrant, multifaceted life, someone worth pursuing, not just someone who's always there. It's not about playing games. It's about showing that your world is complete on its own, which naturally heightens your value in their eyes. This approach is deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom, particularly Epictetus's teaching that you control where you direct your focus. By building a life you love, independent of anyone else's approval, you free yourself from the need to cling to others' attention. You're not waiting for validation. You're creating a world where your value shines through naturally. This self-sufficiency is magnetic, draws people closer because they sense your strength and authenticity. As you cultivate this balanced distance, you'll notice a change. People start to seek you out, valuing your time because it's clear you value it yourself. You're not demanding to be a priority. You're living in a way that makes others want to keep you close, drawn to the richness of your independent, purposeful life. Step back from always starting the conversation. Communication is the heartbeat of any relationship, but the balance of who initiates it can shape how you're perceived. If you're always the one texting first, calling, or reaching out, you may inadvertently signal that your presence is a given, making it easier for others to take you for granted. This Stoic-inspired strategy is about stepping back to create space for mutual effort, allowing others to show they value you by taking the lead. By intentionally shifting the dynamic, you foster relationships built on reciprocal care, reinforcing your worth as a priority. Try this experiment. For 1 week, resist initiating contact with someone who seems to overlook you. Don't ghost them or cut them off. Just hold back from being the first to text, call, or plan. Observe what happens. If they truly value you, they'll notice the shift and reach out, perhaps with a message or an invitation to connect. If they don't, that silence speaks volumes, offering clarity about where you stand in their priorities. This isn't about playing games or punishing anyone. It's about creating an opportunity for them to demonstrate their investment in the relationship. When they take the initiative, it's a sign they see you as someone worth reaching for, not an afterthought. This approach is rooted in Stoic wisdom, particularly Epictetus's emphasis on acting with intention rather than reacting impulsively. By stepping back, you not manipulating or withdrawing affection, you practicing self-respect by giving others the chance to show they care. This pause allows the relationship to breathe, revealing whether it's built on mutual effort or one-sided energy. The key is to approach this with calm confidence, not anxiety. Don't hover by your phone waiting for their message or fretting over their silence. Instead, fill that space with activities that enrich your life. Dive into a book you love, hit the gym, or catch up with friends who lift you up. By centering yourself in your own world, you reinforce your independence and self-worth, showing that you don't rely on others' validation to feel complete. When you live with this kind of purpose, you project a quiet strength that naturally draws others closer. If they reach out during your pause, it's a sign they're beginning to see your value. If they don't, you gain insight into the relationship's balance. It's empowering you to make choices that align with your self-respect. This strategy isn't about creating distance for its own sake, but about fostering connections where both sides contribute. By practicing intentional restraint, you cultivate relationships where your presence is cherished, not assumed. You not demanding to be a priority. You creating a dynamic where others naturally recognize your worth, drawn to the confident, self-assured energy you bring to the table. This is the power of Stoic intention, living in a way that invites mutual respect and effort, building stronger, more balanced bonds. Find your own joy. Here's a truth that cuts deep. If you rely on someone else to make you happy, you're setting yourself up for inevitable disappointment. Stoicism, through the wisdom of Epictetus, teaches that true happiness is an inside job, rooted in your own mind and choices, not in external validation or others' approval. This step is about cultivating your own joy, independent of anyone else's actions or attention. By building a life that fulfills you, you radiate a magnetic energy that naturally draws others to see you as a priority, not because you demand it, but because your authenticity and contentment are irresistible. Start by reconnecting with what truly lights you up. What activities make your heart sing? Maybe it's painting vibrant landscapes, hiking through quiet trails, writing stories that stir your soul, or diving into a new skill like cooking or coding. Pour your energy into these passions. When you engage in what brings you genuine joy, you cultivate a sense of fulfillment that shines outward. This isn't about escaping others or becoming self-absorbed. It's about anchoring your happiness in yourself, so you not dependent on someone else's recognition to feel whole. That inner spark becomes a beacon, attracting people who are drawn to your vitality and authenticity. Consider this real-life example. I once knew someone who felt invisible in their friend group. They were always the one organizing outings, sending thoughtful messages, putting in the effort, yet their friends rarely reciprocated. Frustrated, they decided to shift their focus inward. They enrolled in a photography class, spent weekends exploring new places, and captured moments that brought them joy. Over time, their friends noticed the change, their newfound confidence. The stories they shared, the glow of someone living fully. Suddenly, those same friends were reaching out, saying, "Hey, where have you been? Let's hang out." Why? Because happiness is magnetic. When you're fulfilled, people are drawn to your energy, eager to be part of your vibrant world. Epictetus's wisdom rings true here. Don't seek happiness outside yourself. By building a life you love, you free yourself from the need to chase others' approval. You're not waiting for someone to validate your worth. You're demonstrating it through the way you live. This self-sufficiency doesn't push people away, it pulls them closer. Your joy becomes a gift you share, not something you beg for or manipulate others to provide. As you nurture your passions and embrace what makes you feel alive, you'll notice a shift. Friends, partners, or family start to see you differently, not as someone always available, but as someone whose presence is special and worth prioritizing. This Stoic approach transforms relationships by grounding them in your own contentment, creating a dynamic where others naturally value you because you've shown them what it looks like to value yourself first. Be ready to walk away. The final and most challenging step in becoming a priority is also the most transformative. Be willing to walk away from relationships that consistently undervalue you. This isn't about issuing ultimatums or creating drama. It's about embodying self-respect and aligning your life with your worth, a core principle of Stoicism. Epictetus taught that true freedom lies in focusing on what you control, your choices, your actions, and your boundaries. Someone repeatedly overlooks your efforts, dismisses your feelings, or takes you for granted. You have the power to step back and choose relationships that honor your value. This step doesn't mean severing ties at the first sign of conflict. It's about discernment, recognizing when a relationship no longer serves your well-being despite your efforts to foster mutual respect. Perhaps you've applied earlier Stoic strategies, creating a sense of scarcity, setting clear boundaries, or cultivating your own happiness. Yet, if someone still fails to see your worth, it's time to reflect. Am I okay staying in a dynamic where I'm not valued? This question isn't about blame, it's about clarity. It's about honoring yourself enough to prioritize relationships that are reciprocal and uplifting, rather than settling for those that diminish you. Walking away doesn't always mean ending the relationship entirely. It can take subtler forms, like emotionally distancing yourself, investing less energy, or redirecting your focus to people who genuinely prioritize you. For example, if a friend only reaches out when it suits them, you might choose to engage less frequently, spending more time with those who show consistent care. This act of stepping back is a declaration of self-worth, signaling to others and yourself that you deserve to be valued. It's not about punishment. It's about choosing connections that align with your integrity and self-respect. The true power of this step lies in its ripple effect. When you demonstrate the courage to walk away, you send a profound message about your value. Sometimes this shift alone can awaken others to what they risk losing, prompting them to reassess how they treat you. A friend might start reaching out more, or a partner might recognize the need for greater effort. Other times, walking away opens the door to healthier, more balanced relationships with people who naturally see your worth. Either way, you win. By choosing yourself, you embody the Stoic principle of living in accordance with your values, free from the need for external validation. This step is the ultimate Stoic victory, because it places your worth in your own hands. Not waiting for someone else to change, or begging for their attention, you living with the confidence that you deserve, relationships that reflect your value. By embracing this mindset, you create a life surrounded by people who prioritize you, not because you demanded it, but because your self-respect makes it clear that you're worth it. You are your own priority. Let's bring this full circle. Feeling overlooked or undervalued can shake your confidence, but it doesn't define you. Stoicism, through the wisdom of Epictetus, reminds us that we can't control others' actions or priorities, but we can control our own. By focusing on what's in your power, your mindset, your choices, your boundaries, you can transform how you're seen in the world. These 9 steps aren't about changing who you are or manipulating others. They're about reclaiming your power, building a life you love, and letting your value shine through. When you create a spark of scarcity, prioritize quality over quantity. Embrace a little mystery and cultivate your own happiness. You become someone others naturally want to prioritize. And if they don't, you're strong enough to walk away, knowing your worth isn't tied to their approval. So, here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these steps and try it this week. Maybe it's stepping back from always texting first, or maybe it's diving into a passion project that lights you up. Start small, but start. Each choice you make builds a stronger, more confident you that others can't help but notice. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If this resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on living with purpose and strength. I'll leave a couple of videos in the description that dive deeper into Stoic wisdom and personal growth. Till next time, keep focusing on what you can control and watch how your world changes. See you soon.